Hey everybody, welcome back to ChortleCast Live. I am one of your hosts, Jake, and I'm joined as always by the Stream King, the Far Cry Guy, the man who may cry devil, the Double Dog Dad, the Rogue Light Lad with a baby, Steven.
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted, yes.
Okay, excellent. Hey everybody. Garrett sucks.
Steven coming in with the hot takes already. We're not even Geralt's not even on this list. And Steven,
welcome to your first stray bullet. Geralt of Rivia shockingly takes it.
Steven has already been at me so hard.
I don't actually think Geralt sucks. I'm just playing around. We were talking about how
Steven
Jake
got mad.
Can't separate his emotions from characters.
That's true. It's true.
All right, cool. That's why Geralt's not on this list.
Geralt, Link, and Stitch, all bullets, all stray bullets need to avoid.
You don't make your Stitch affinity that well known, or at least you haven't to me, because that came as a bit of a surprise to me. I had never known you to be such a Stitch stan.
One of my favorite Disney characters, this little guy right here, Stitch.
I can't see because you didn't share your screen again.
Well, the stream saw it. That's all that matters, you know?
Well, I matter. I like to think I matter.
You do. I'm sorry. Do I need to? I don't know how. If I share my screen with you now, we're gonna have all sorts of problems. So I apologize.
Fine. I'll
You'll live. But I am a big Stitch person. One of my favorite Disney movies ever of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is of course ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about, which usually involves a lot of tier lists and a lot of character tournaments, which is what we have in store for you tonight. Tonight we're doing anti-hero versus anti-hero. The heroes that play by their own rules or don't have any rules. So
for this, and I probably made it too broad, which is why honestly there may be a round 2 for this tournament down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I apologize for my son. He's been real fussy.
I was just about to say, I don't know if anyone in chat how much is coming through, because Asher is crying downstairs, and so I hear him in my ears, and then Peter's crying, so it's like I'm just hearing nothing but crying babies right now.
I'm just gonna tell you right now, if you have a problem with crying children on this channel, get over it. Because
you're just gonna have to live with it for at least.
And that needs to be okay.
It's got to be okay.
It's okay with me, so it's going to be okay with you guys.
We've got 3 current dads on this channel, about to be 4 dads on this channel.
All boy dads.
Dads. Jeremy and Krista announced today that they are in fact having a lovely little boy with a badass name. I'm not going to reveal that. I don't know if we have the rights to that, but it's
probably
really
the
cool
coolest
name.
middle name I've ever seen.
Right. I as soon as I read it, I was just like, whoa. And like, I don't want to hype it up too much. I'm sure Jeremy will tell y'all next time he's on a stream. But anyway, very exciting. Lots of boys. But anyway.
So for this tournament, for antiheroes, which I learned in the creation of this tournament, that's very loose.
It's pretty broad
these days.
Pretty broad, yeah.
Antiheroes are real big right now. So the disclaimers I use, like the qualifiers, and the character had to be at least one of these things. 1, the character has been a force for good and evil at some point. 2, the character has no allegiance, serving their own interests or interests beyond typical understanding. And 3, the character has no rules of engagement or is willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Which I like to think, at the time I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But the third one, I feel, really
do whatever it takes.
Do whatever it takes, which is a qualifier of an anti-hero. Very like the like your vigilante type characters, the ones that work outside the law. Those often are anti-heroes, but some of these I look at them and I'm like, well, no, that's not really. I wouldn't consider them that.
Yeah.
But we do have some very interesting submissions on this list. Just going to say this right at the top. This is going to be the least funny list we've ever done.
I was even trying to find like funny anti-hero. Like I suggested Iceberg for villains versus villains.
Yeah.
And that works, and that was funny.
There's
not an Iceberg for anti-heroes.
There are 2 funny ones on this list.
Okay.
If that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Which I'm fine with that because I'm the kind of person that takes great joy in like like when we did the Sentinels campaign, which I would love if we finished that at some point, but I really enjoyed creating rules and guidelines for how to change the game. And I love that kind of conversation to where rules are established and the discussion part of it. So that's great to me. If I ever see an iceberg in this tournament again, it'll be too soon. Icebergs are banned.
Well, no icebergs tonight. No icebergs tonight for sure.
Yeah.
Well, are you ready to go ahead and get the list started? I know we
probably should. We have 30 fighters.
There we go.
So we should probably get started.
Now, early on, Stephen, we did have a conversation before we went live about should we keep the dance battle in.
That is. Oh shoot! I forgot to pull up the wheel. Hold on, give me just a second.
All right, so it hasn't been done yet. What I was going to suggest is, what if we did a poll really quick to see what chat thinks? So I'm going to put a poll in here. Do we keep dance battle in for this one or not? Dance.
So the thought process here, just to explain what I was going for, is that because a lot of these characters have a silver tongue, I thought it'd be good if we replaced a category with like insult battle. And so I initially went to dance battle because that one just doesn't really hit for me. Also, Jake, if I
put in a poll.
If I switched my share screen to sharing my entire screen, would that mess you up? Because that way I can pull up the wheel.
I might have to do some adjustments, but you can do that now, and I can make those before we transition. Yeah. So that's fine.
Sorry, I completely forgot about the wheel.
You're good. You can't forget about the wheel.
Change windows, screen 1.
All right, I put that in there. Okay. See, what I told Steven I said I love the insult battle. Let's just add that. As I said, I don't think there's a reason to take out dance battle. But Steven wants us to be a little bit more serious than.
Well, look, pie eating contest is staying in there. We're gonna have like this epic battle where it's like, wow, we've wondered for years who would win in this fight, and the wheel's gonna land on a freaking pie eating contest. It's gonna happen.
It's the power of the wheel.
But the wheel is too strong.
It's the thing that binds us all together. All right, so are you now sharing full screen?
I'm sharing the full screen.
Great. Yep. This looks pretty good already. So can you switch to the other screen? The verses? Yeah, let me just make a minor.
I'm just sharing the full window, and I lined up the wheel. Check my alignment when you've framed it. That way we can see if the wheel's good.
Yeah, it's all fine.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to take us to...
Silver tongue is what I'm going to call that category, and I'm just going to add it.
I like it. Okay. Coming back to the chat, we had 2 votes. Both were for yes, so we'll ride with that.
So I got a lot of submissions, by the way, and I just want to say this at the top, and I'll probably going to say it again. Also, did you post a Discord?
I did not, no.
Go ahead and post a Discord while
you go ahead and keep talking.
I got a lot of submissions, and I already talked to Courtney about it a little bit. We try to keep this 30 max. And so whenever I'm given a submission, and some of you have experienced this today, where I was like, state your case for this character. I like to, 1, have enough knowledge on the character to where I can argue for or against them. 2, I want there to be a reasonable path to their defeat. Like some characters, like Vortex initially, and I don't mind calling him out on this one because he would totally claim, and I mean, honestly, I would not be able to say this story without anonymity. But Vortex, like within seconds, was like, yeah, this god from Doom Eternal. And I was like, I even said to him, I was like, I'll hold him for a minute. I don't mind. I got him.
Bring him in.
Come here, buddy.
I'm right there with Steven, though, because we've had a couple in the past where, like, I don't even know what we're talking, like, who the character was. So it definitely helps when we have some background. And at the very least, if that background was given when pitched, that helps too. So
There you go, bud. There
the
you go.
struggles.
But
Dad
yeah,
life.
Vortex was like, "Hey, yeah, let's do this God character from Doom," and I was like, "Need I remind you of the genie clause?"
Yeah, no, we're not. Well, and even me, I suggested Black Adam at this, and I told Steven, as soon as I sent it to him, I instantly regretted it. I was like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have sent that."
So a lot of characters that were submitted to me did not make it because either I didn't feel good about where their power level landed opposed to the rest of the list, or I just didn't know enough about them to justify and argue for or against them.
Right.
So, if your character is not on this list, nothing personal. There was a reason.
It's nothing personal. We just hate your guts. That's all it is.
And Geralt of Rivia is a doo-doo head.
Geralt's catching all kind of stray bullets tonight for no reason. No reason.
So, yeah.
What's up, Joe? Thanks for joining. Spent the last 3 hours getting the MOBO CPU set up and running. Is that like MOBO? Is that like mobile? Or am I missing something?
Peter says, hello, I've been in a lot of trouble today, but I'm still cute, right? Oh my
goodness. Look at that hair.
Yeah.
If you buzzed your head right now, y'all would be absolute twins. And if you took like Sharpie and penciled in like a beard on him, y'all could be twins. Notice how I didn't suggest that you shave your beard.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
You can't suggest that. You can't suggest that.
I would never. Oh, motherboard.
I've never heard MOBO as an abbreviation for motherboard.
Ro, Steven is making fun of how I get so emotionally attached to these situations, and I do.
It's a meme. I don't actually have anything against. Oh, you okay, buddy? I think I bumped his head just a little bit. I don't actually have anything against the character of Geralt. Geralt's great. It's just I enjoy agitating Jake for the memes.
It's always fun. It's always fun.
But anyway,
all right, we ready for our first?
This is a good podcast / stream for me to be holding him because I can do this with one hand.
There you go.
All right.
We are on the versus screen. So
you are not cheating, are you?
I'm not. I have that whole screen hidden, and I can only see once it hits my OBS window. That's when I can see it.
Okay. So. Excellent. All right. So we're gonna have some funnier ones towards some slightly goofier ones towards the beginning, but this first one is gonna be Joel.
Okay, Joel. Yep. Good one.
Versus, and you don't know who this character is, but or at least I don't think you do. You need to watch this anime. Kiritsugu Emiya from Fate Zero.
Oh, okay.
Do you know him?
I don't. I'm looking to get a better look. I don't immediately recognize him, but that's a really cool picture of him, but not like a great profile.
So that was the only picture that I could get the essence of Kiritsugu that wasn't really weird looking fan art.
Right. It's a problem with that show, I hear. Or any anime, really.
Any anime, yeah. All right, so let's see what they're doing.
What are they doing? What are they doing? Power of the wheel. Power of the wheel. Hey. Race. Okay. All right.
So I'm going to tell you right now, Joel doesn't have a chance in hell.
I was about to say, I don't know anything about this anime character, but I can tell you kids in anime can run a whole lot faster than Joel can.
Joel is a middle-aged man who probably has back issues. Kiritsugu has the ability to warp time.
That's like a whole discussion between Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 is that Joel, like, why can Ellie do all these cool things that Joel can't do? Well, he's old. I think he's like in his 50s in that game. Someone was talking about that the other day, and I was like, I didn't realize he was that old.
So let me make a pitch for why everyone should watch Phase Zero.
I would love this pitch.
Kiritsugu is one of my favorite anime characters, just not like the same way Midoriya is one of my favorite anime characters. Kiritsugu is what I think of when I think of a badass in anime. And he's just really fun to watch because the Fate Zero, the premise is it's modern day, and there's a whole Fate series. Don't waste your time with the Fate series. Just watch Fate Zero and you're done.
That's what I was wondering. I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I've tried this before and I didn't
Fate
like it.
Zero is a completely isolated series. You've probably heard of Fate Stay Night. That is the sequel to Fate Zero.
The thing I have in my image in my mind is this blonde girl who's supposed to be like she's like the
King
persona of King Arthur. Yeah, is
Yes.
is this the show that we're talking about?
That is this. She is
Okay.
his heroic spirit. But yes, Fate Zero, not ReZero. That is correct. Fate Zero you can watch and just put the series down. It is a prequel to Fate Stay Night. You don't even need to watch Fate Stay Night. Honestly, it's probably better if you just watch Fate Zero and then tap out. So 7 mages, I believe, are chosen for what is called the Holy Grail War every so many years, in which the winner gets the power of a wish. And so it's called the Holy Grail War, but it's literally 7 mages just trying to kill each other with no rules.
Okay.
Except for you maintain the secret of magic.
Okay.
So each mage gets a heroic spirit, which is based on different classes, like classifications. So there's like the mage, the lancer, the rider, the swordsman, or so. I can't remember what Saber's classification. Oh, I guess it's Saber. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but a sword fighter, and King Arthur is a saber, and so he offers up Excalibur's shield as a relic and ends up getting Arthur as his spirit.
Nice.
But Kiritsugu he specializes in assassinating mages.
Nice.
He is known in the underground as the Mage Killer. He has limited magic that allows him to, I forget what all he's capable. He's well adept at a lot of minor magics and he can change his position in time. So he could increase his own speed or slow his own speed. For example, he was being hunted and slowed his heart rate to where he was undetectable. Or he can enhance his speed to get out of situations very quickly, but he can't change the time around him. Just his speed within it.
Personal speed.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But he is such a badass that he got Saber as his heroic spirit. He was like, oh, awesome, cool. Protect my wife. I'm going to go win the war. So he just goes out and just starts murking people. And one of my favorite just badass moments in anime comes from how he handled one of the characters that he just brutalized. And so he's just this very methodical character who is doing all of this because he wants to wish for war to end. Basically, he has fooled himself into thinking that he can wish death and sorrow and conflict away. So he makes himself the catalyst through which all bad things have to be done to achieve the goal of ending bad things.
That's a really interesting.
Yes. He is so cool. You need to watch it. It's like 26 episodes. It's very quick. The animation's beautiful. The story can be a bit what the hell sometimes.
Well, yeah. Welcome to anime.
Yeah, but it is one of those where you find yourself rooting for nearly every single person in the war, at least a little bit, except for the one who's a serial killer. You don't want him to win.
Don't want him. He can't win.
But yeah, so Kiritsugu, very capable, very like the kind of guy that if prep time shows up on the wheel, that has to be discussed because he will go far enough to where he leveled an entire building that a target was in. It was a hotel just so he could draw out his target.
Jeez. Okay. This man don't care who dies.
He did call in a bomb threat first. So basically he was trying to flush out his target. So either the target would come out the front door and get shot with a rifle, or they die in the explosion. He pinned them. So everyone did get out. They did say that in the anime.
Of course, they had to.
We found there was no bomb, and then the building explodes. But yeah, everyone was safe.
So
But anyway, yeah.
for what we're doing right now, though, I think the key point there is that he can alter his own speed,
Yeah.
or he can alter his own relation to time, which would make him faster, right?
Yes.
I think already it was going to be a hard argument for Joel. With
Yes.
that in mind, it's no shot.
But
he's got to win this race.
Kiritsugu is the kind of guy that if there's a way to cheat, he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He does not care about your feelings or the rules.
So what you're saying is he's going to shoot Joel in the leg.
Joel in the leg.
And then alter his speed to run and win.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, good
So,
to
yeah.
know.
I'm glad that he went up against Joel first, because Joel was one where I was like, Joel's gonna lose to basically anyone, because nothing short of a fist fight for the fate of his daughter, which is not a category on the wheel. Nothing short of that was going to give Joel
defending a loved one might be an interesting thing to add.
That's I don't think that fits this tournament.
We don't have to. We don't have to do it right now. But
I think when you get into characters that are like heroic, I think defending a loved one, and also like one where they get to bring in a teammate or something. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone go watch Fate Zero if you haven't. Kiritsugu is the best. He has one of possibly my favorite fight scene in all of anime is his. It's one that's fast, but at the same time, like, they do the whole thought process thing as they fight, but it happens in real time. Well, real time to where they don't just pause and think. Like, time slows and he thinks his process, but his opponent does as well. It's a very cool, like, kind of equal footing fight between him and somebody else, who that guy also could have made this list, but I didn't feel like opening up that can of worms. I figured one was enough. So, okay, Kiritsugu takes it.
I appreciate not opening all the can of worms tonight.
You got it. So let me remove Joel from the running. Sorry, buddy.
I'm glad he was here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's gonna win around one of these days. All right.
He's been in a couple now at this point, right?
Also, yeah, he's been in 2. Also, just for the record, Anna picked these matchups, but she didn't know what she was picking.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I basically turned to her and I said, pick a number between 1 and 15, and you can use each number twice.
Okay. All right.
So she unknowingly picked these matches. Keep that in mind before this one.
Okay.
Billy Butcher.
I'm so glad he got added to this.
Versus Corey in the house.
Okay. First off, before we even get into what
he's
are they doing,
an anti-hero. He's a self-serving kind of person. He's in it for Corey. You know
who put Corey?
I put Corey in here. Okay. We needed to laugh.
Look, I'm not mad at it. This was the kind of character I went looking for, trying to figure out who I could get in here.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. What are they doing, Steven? What does the wheel say?
The wheel says,
ooh, okay. Tag and escape.
So flip a coin.
Yep. Let me get my coin flipper out.
We are determining what Billy is doing. So heads, he is chasing. Tails, he is hiding.
All right, let's see. All right, you ready?
Yep.
It's tails.
Billy is running from Corey. I mean, there's nothing Corey can do. Billy is a prime of his life, fit British dude, and Corey is a possibly diabetic teenager.
I wanna make a case for Corey.
Okay.
But I don't know. I was hoping it would be that Corey was running, because I feel like
Butcher would annihilate him.
Butcher is gonna win, regardless, but I feel like Corey could I feel like it would be a little bit. I feel like Corey would have some sort of trick that Butcher wouldn't expect. You know what I mean? Like he would.
Yeah, he'd like pop out like a plastic skeleton, and then Butcher
Yes.
would shoot it with a laser baby or something.
Yeah. Now this is the
Be
question.
like, okay.
This is the question. Does Butcher? It doesn't matter. Does Butcher?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Corey got a bone hand.
Yeah, he.
Oh my God.
I wish. I don't know. I think a case could be made for Corey to be with him being so crafty, but I don't think it works.
This is Billy Butcher.
Oh, I know. And Butcher's just as crafty. Just his
He is more
his
crafty
is deadly.
than Corey.
His is deadly crafty. I'm sorry, Lee Allison. I'm trying to like bring my energy level down here.
Let's see. Let's just do that color. That pops somewhat effectively. Okay.
Yeah, with our
So,
bright colors, it's so hard to
Yeah.
find something that doesn't match. Butcher would have killed Corey if Corey was running. Butcher literally captured and killed a man who could turn it invisible.
That's a great point. So yeah,
I just feel
Corey's
like
dead.
I feel like Corey would have like a bag of marbles or something that he would like.
Corey would try
Butcher
some
wouldn't
Tom
be
and Jerry
expecting.
trick,
Yeah.
and it would not phase Billy Butcher at all.
I think it would catch Billy off guard, but I don't think it would be enough to like win.
A case could be made. It's a bad case, but it could be made. Thank you, Courtney.
There's
All
a
right,
case. It's just
Butcher
not very good.
moves forward. Butcher versus Kiritsugu is an excellent round 2, by the way, because they are very similar.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in what they're going to be doing.
He's
Johnny Gat
Johnny Gat.
versus the Punisher.
I thought that was Butcher again, just comic book Butcher.
It
and I
looks
was
like Butcher, yeah.
I was like, Steven, we already did that one. Okay, so Johnny Gat versus the Punisher.
Are you familiar with Johnny Gat at all?
From
Saints Row.
I was gonna say Gat Out of Hell, but that's Saints Row. Gat Out
He
of Hell.
he is the unkillable badass of the Saints, basically.
Okay, all right. He
So
doesn't
let's
have.
see.
Well, I guess they do have powers in.
He
one of the
does not
games.
have powers.
Okay,
He's just a badass. That's all he's got.
that's all he's got.
He buried a kid alive one time because the kid called hit on his wife.
Wow, fight to the death. Okay, there you
Is
go.
there prep time?
That's
Okay,
the one
yeah.
with prep.
Gat's done.
You think so?
Punisher is one of those that does benefit from prep time. Gat does
Mhm.
not. Gat benefits from his opponent lacking it because he's good at improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've got someone like Punisher,
He will
who-
find the weakness.
he will find a way. Gat is just a regular guy. If Punisher has means to kill, like reason to kill him, in which we are operating off of the understanding that
He
if
would.
it comes to a fight to the death, they have reason to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jeremy's even agreeing, and Jeremy is a fan of Johnny Gat.
Yeah.
So there's not really a case to be made. If it was like a no items fist fight, a case could possibly be made for Gat. But no, no.
Yeah, I
Punisher
agree.
takes
I think the prep time there just kind of seals that one.
Yep.
Yeah, nicely in a bow.
I need to remember to actually change the fight category, but that one was over so quick that I didn't really need to. Okay. A lot of the it just kind of ended up this way. A lot of the anti-hero with gun types
There's a lot.
front load this list.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Jack Sparrow
Great picture.
course.
Great picture choice.
versus Red Hood, the inspiration for this category.
I love it. I love it.
Let's see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, let's let the wheel decide. This is a very interesting matchup already.
Yes.
Just to juxtapose the two. Fight to the death, no items, right? That's what that one means.
No items. That is correct.
I mean, I think
I
easily.
don't-
Well, go ahead.
Jack Sparrow is a dehydrated, always drunk, probably otherwise malnourished 45-year-old man. And Red Hood is a trained to kill zombie with a chip on his shoulder in the prime of his second life.
Yeah. In the prime of his second life. Yeah.
Jack Sparrow is crafty.
Mhm.
He learned from the seas. I was going to say the streets.
If this had been he learned from the streets of the seas.
Yes.
If this had been that insult contest that we just added, that would be Jack Sparrow hands down. But yeah, no, I mean, Red Hood is just as deadly with weapons or without. Really,
Yes.
As I was thinking through a lot of the different like cases that could happen with this matchup, I feel like if there was any sort of like if items were allowed, I do feel like Jack could put up an interesting fight. I still don't think he'd win, but at least like if he had a ship or if he had a town and just like items around, like what's the one you have a battle on there that's like scrounge or like survivor scavenge. Like I feel like if it was scavenge, I feel like Jack would have a little bit of an advantage, even though Red Hood could probably turn anything into a weapon. I feel like Jack can improvise very well with just anything.
I feel like the best that would happen for Jack is that since he's basically a cartoon character in live action and the world just kind of happens around him, it would just take a little bit longer for Red Hood to kill.
That's exactly it. Like I feel like if it was a race, especially like just get from point A to point B, I think Jack could win. But if it was with it being any sort of to the death thing, I just don't see how, especially with no items, he can't even sword fight. Like there's nothing.
He doesn't have any rum.
No rum. He can't do it. There's no chance.
You ain't got it, Jack. There's no rum.
You ain't got it, Jack. The rum's gone.
Okay. The rum is gone.
The rum is always gone.
All right. I'm pretty sure that was the last fun one.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Get ready to be bored to tears the rest of the night.
I forgot that I have these already pre-built in. I need to remember that. Okay. And when I say fun, I mean that was the last funny one, I think. Yeah, there may be one.
The power of the wheel. Power of the wheel.
Power of the wheel. All right. Constantine.
Oh, I almost sent that one to you. I'm glad it made it. Somehow.
I love Constantine. I also don't know very much about him, but I love him.
He's a cool character.
He's a very cool character.
I don't know much about him, but I love him.
Versus Snape.
Did Red Hood just fight Jack Sparrow? Yes, Slayer.
He did, and he won.
He won. Oh, Snape. That's a really. I didn't think about that one.
Yeah.
Not what you typically think of when you
I just randomly heard the wheel start clapping because the no items clap finally happened. Let me walk you through what just happened to me. You were like, "Oh, Snape, that's a really good one," and then I hear
that was me. That was me. I was sending.
I thought that there was like a crowd that was applauding my choice of Snape.
It was great.
That was actually Courtney that submitted Snape.
All right, let's see what these two are doing against each other.
Dance battle. Come on. Okay, so Constantine wins.
No items and prep.
Every time, both times we've had a wizard, it's been no items, so they can't do anything.
Now, anyone feel free to chime in here, but I don't know that Constantine is just snap my fingers magic. I'm pretty sure he is. Okay. I thought he was a little bit more like alchemy, kind of has to prep a little bit.
There is some to it, but he is versed enough in various types of magic. Where there's some magics that he uses where he sacrifices a relic or uses an item, whatever, but he is capable of using probably some kind of blood magics or just incantation magics
on his own.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And also if it was just a fist fight,
Constantine would absolutely win. Yes. Yeah. No, he's a backstreet brawler type character. So. Snape does not strike me as that.
Man, these poor Harry Potter characters.
I know. Well, I don't feel bad in any way for Columbus or whoever.
Columbus. Dolores.
Tried to combine her name there.
Columbus. That's fantastic.
That's what we have to call her from now on.
Welcome back, Vortex. So this is a fun one. Also, kind of an upset. Because it's going to be a hard case for one of these characters.
Okay.
Venom.
Venom. Okay, great. Classic.
Where do you think this is going?
I love it when you ask.
Yes.
I don't know. Rick Sanchez is my guess, but
it's somehow more stacked than that.
Oh, okay. Deadpool?
Zuko.
Oh. Zuko can't be in this list. He's too
an
wholesome.
anti-hero.
He's too
He is
wholesome.
He is one of the ones that actually meets the anti-hero disclaimer the most. Because you're never rooting against him, but he is on the wrong side.
He's too see, this is I'm gonna be too emotionally attached to this one. So
I mean, he's
what
gonna
is
win.
the wheel doing? What is the wheel doing? Tag and escape.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right. So
as we know,
heads.
Zuko is great at catching people.
How much honor is on the line?
Notoriously great at catching. So
Yes.
who are we flipping? Who's
Heads, Venom chases, tails, Venom runs.
okay?
This is like one of the only ones where Venom actually has a chance.
Why do you say that? Because fire?
Because fire.
Okay. Is Venom vulnerable to fire?
Extremely vulnerable.
I thought it was just
fire and sound.
Yeah. I always think of sound.
He has the most, like, that's up there with the Green Lanterns being weak to the color yellow. Venom has two of the worst weaknesses.
All right, it was tails, which I'm pretty sure means Venom is running.
Venom is running.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how Zuko wins that one. I mean, so let me back this up. So aside from the joke of just that, for a 4-season show, Zuko is chasing a 12-year-old boy, and
this
he can't
isn't
catch
hide
them.
and seek. This is tag escape, right?
Right.
Which means that there is no seeking at play. There is Venom is running, and Zuko is after him. They do not lose sight of each other unless if the one being pursued manages to outpace them.
Right. I don't know. I mean, Zuko obviously could probably not quite fly. We've had this conversation with the Firebenders before, because this probably is not happening during a Sozin's comment or something where firebending's amplified, but he could at least boost himself to get a boost of speed. I would say Venom is very fast, though.
I think that we could say Zuko's ability to boost midair probably equals that of Venom's web swinging. So we need to find another.
The question is, can Zuko hit him with fire? Because if that's one of Venom's weaknesses, while he could avoid it for a while, I don't think he could avoid it forever. So that's the question. Do we think Venom's agile enough to not be hit by any of Zuko's flame or lightning?
Can Zuko? I know he can redirect.
Actually, no, that's true. He can just redirect. He can't throw it.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I feel like Venom is pretty agile. Am I wrong?
It depends on the interpretation. Most interpretations that you would see, especially from like the 90s, he is more agile than you'd expect his body type to be.
Right.
But he's not near Spider-Man agile.
Right. Okay.
And I would say, especially since pictured, that's kind of what we're working with. So he is nowhere near Spider-Man's speed.
Okay.
But he is more nimble than a burly brute looking type.
He's more nimble than your average bear.
Yes.
That I'm glad we have that clarification, because that, I think, is a defining question. I don't know. With that in mind, like if he was Spider-Man's level of athleticism, I don't think Zuko would get a hit, because I would think Spider-Man and Aang would be pretty close to similar levels of agile. I'd probably argue that Aang is more agile. But with Spidey sense, I feel like that's a huge upper hand. Does Venom have Spidey sense? I don't think he does. I could be wrong though.
That's a great question.
I don't think he does. I'm gonna look it up. I think it was.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't because
Okay.
he doesn't have Spider-Man's powers. The symbiote is emulating Spider-Man's powers through the symbiote. So like his web is symbiote.
Gotcha.
I think.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I would say it's not straight up fight. It would be kind of against the rules for Zuko to hit him with fire. I don't think so in the sense that like he's trying to stop him.
I also think Venom is weak enough to fire to where you could even pose the question of could Zuko slow him down with adjacent fire? Yeah. And I think that would be permitted.
I think it would be really tight. Like I don't think it would be an easy win for Zuko, but I think Zuko could pull it off.
I think he could, but I don't know. I think.
Do we want to put a poll?
I think we put up a poll.
Okay. All right. Let's put up a poll. Let's see who wins.
And I'm gonna rearrange these.
Zuko
is tagging. Venom is escaping.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I was like, why did you flip flop it? That we already did a coin flip. It's like, nah, I get it. I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be tight. It would be tight, I think. But well, if I was playing tag with someone and shot them with a 9mm pistol, that would be fair. I mean, you guys have a point, but in this instance, I think it counts. Because, I mean, Zuko was trying to catch Aang, and he shot fireballs at him all the time. Now, granted, I don't think he maybe hit him, 1% of the time, but...
I think since Zuko's means of using fire is a no-item situation, I think that's probably... the better, like if it's Punisher, for example, and it's a tag escape situation, you can't just say, well, Punisher has a sniper rifle, so he's just going to snipe the dude in the leg. But if it's someone who innately has those abilities, I think you can say they are capable of using them to some capacity.
Yeah.
It's 75% Venom right now. So
let me see how many votes we're working with here. We're working with 4. I'll leave it up just another second. So if you haven't voted, get your vote in. Yeah, I really do. I think regardless, it would be a really tight situation. But Jeremy's saying, right, Vortex, that's how I feel about it. Otherwise, couldn't Venom just kind of liquefy and wrap himself around Zuko?
Yes, he could. If Venom was pursuing, yes. Because it's the same situation of like, if Spider-Man's in a tag escape situation, web swinging is permitted.
Well, I was just gonna say too, are we considering like who the Venom host is?
Eddie Brock, peak Venom.
Yeah, that's
like it's the Venom pictured above, and not like I said with a lot of these, it's not always as pictured, but I think when people think of Venom, they think muscular Eddie Brock, lethal vigilante, lethal hero, or whatever it's called. So that's just the one I'm going with.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that choice.
People are giving it to Venom, and I'm not going to argue that. I think that's fair, but I do think for these types of situations, I do think that if you're saying Zuko can't use fire, then you're essentially just saying it's a running contest, and for some characters it is, but at that point, since Zuko can innately firebend, and you could argue that if characters aren't allowed to use their abilities, who is Venom if not Eddie Brock with a suit,
right?
Which gives him abilities, so then it would be Eddie Brock in a foot race. So I think you have to kind of determine what is acceptable usage of powers and what is not. And I think in this situation, if Venom has full use of his symbiote, Zuko has full use of fire.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree with that. I think he should be able to use that.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Yeah.
Your sniper comparison I thought was was a pretty good.
Yeah,
like,
if they have the
differentiator.
capability of doing it innately by themselves, then I mean, for that matter, if Ghost Rider's not on here for obvious reasons, he's too strong. But if Ghost Rider's in a tag escape situation, does he get the bike?
Yeah.
And that is a question that we would have to handle. But I would argue that yeah, he does, because the bike is basically part of him.
Yeah.
Like he summons it at will, and it's always with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think
it's a case by case basis.
Yeah.
And we just have to.
We'll make those calls, but I think that was the right one for that.
Well, Gulag, I wasn't necessarily saying it being a suit is what makes it, but the living organism that is the symbiote is Eddie Brock's power, because Eddie Brock is the meat suit, the host, which the symbiote uses. So if we're taking away all powers for that kind of situation, Eddie Brock doesn't have the symbiote. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Venom takes that round.
Venom takes it.
A lot of tag escape tonight.
A lot of tag escape. No dance parties, no pie eating contests.
This one's gonna be sad.
Sad.
It's not a very interesting one. The matchup has happened in a video game before, and I do not see a feasible. Well, we'll see. Let's see.
Let's see what it is.
Star Killer.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Versus Boba Fett.
Ooh. Okay.
This happened in a DLC mission on Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Boba got absolutely bodied.
I was about to say Star Killer's pretty strong, so that would be
all right.
case.
Star Killer takes it.
Well, I didn't even see what it was. What was it?
No items prep.
Oh, no items prep. Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
That's the whole Mandalorian thing.
I'm sorry, Boba.
Yeah, geez, that was fast.
Gosh, didn't even give him a chance.
Star Killer's whole thing is how powerful in the Force he is, so he'd rip his head off.
He literally, like, he could be in a full-on deathmatch fight. He'd be like, I don't need this lightsaber to rip you in half with my mind.
I don't even need this thing. I can see that cutscene right now. I can see it.
Jeremy, I agree with him just being like, shooting him with fire, but I think that Venom's weakness to fire, just kind of to explain what I'm thinking, Zuko shooting him with fire and just being like, hi, you're dead because fire, that isn't allowed, but Zuko making a wall of fire to block off Venom is allowed.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like direct hits.
Yeah.
It would be using the power of fire.
Yeah, but Venom's so weak to fire, at least in a lot of iterations I've seen, he's so weak to fire that being near it hinders him a lot. So that's what I was referring to, not literally Zuko just being like, fireball, you're done.
Fire blast.
But deterring him with fire rather than just cooking him.
Yeah.
Okay. Starkiller will literally strangle the dude while playing Days Gone while also voice acting Darth Maul at the same time.
I forget. I've lost the voice actor's name, but yeah,
Sam
shout out.
Witwer.
Yeah, shout out to Sam.
What a guy.
Oh yeah,
he's great. Riddick.
Okay, all right.
Where is this going, Jake?
I don't even know who Riddick is, so that's Vin Diesel in my mind.
He is. That is correct. He's
Vin Diesel on Mars, right? And he's blind.
He's Vin Diesel who sees different. I don't really know what his powers are. He sees different.
He sees different.
He got knives.
Okay.
And that's about it.
That's all you know.
He kills real good.
He kills real good. All right. And there you go. He doing the killing. Real professional like.
Wario.
Yes. All right.
I hope it's a pie eating contest.
That would be the perfect situation for Wario. Yes. Yes. Wario. Wario takes it. Gotta be. Right? Tell me this Riddick guy is a great dancer.
I mean, he's not. Is Wario a great
Now
dancer?
here's the thing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
I'm nobody. Continue with your thought. Where are you going with this?
Just saying, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So like who
Dancing is in the eye of the dancer.
dancing is in the eye of the person watching the dancing. I would argue though that I don't see Riddick dancing. Here dancing a lot of dancing is about the confidence, right? If you can do it with a little jazz in your step and confidence, people are going to dig it. I feel like Wario could do that. I don't think Riddick would go for that. I think Riddick would be like, "Yo, I'm too cool. I don't want to do this whole dancing thing." I think he'd bow out, Whereas Wario, I could totally see going crazy.
Capoeira. Does Riddick do capoeira? I didn't think he did. Capoeira is Brazilian dance fighting.
Oh, now I was gonna say that could be an argument that could be made because dancing in a way, or fighting in a way rather, is a form of dancing. So
I'm gonna assume that Vin Diesel is a really bad dancer.
See, that's my other thing. I don't think.
He seems like he'd be a really bad dancer.
Everybody's coming in here saying that he's got the
They
moves.
just don't want to see Riddick go out like this.
I'm sorry, guys. This is it. This is how this happens. Can he knife dance? And I don't know. I could see him like this being like a hidden talent, that he can dance, but I just don't see him beating Wario in a dance off. Just something about
the gut instinct says for me when I look at these two characters, Wario is more of a dancer. Just gut reaction.
Yeah.
And so we have to go based off of what we know. And I feel like things we know about Wario and his activities and who he is.
I'm thinking of like WarioWare even. Like there's got to be a dancing game.
He is a random enough entity that dancing has to be somewhere in his skill set.
Yeah, dancing has to be in there somewhere.
In Pitch Black, Riddick is sitting in a lawn chair with an umbrella and newspaper sitting on top of the ship he escaped from. What does that have to do with dancing, Courtney?
But was he dancing?
I think we have to give it to Wario.
I'm
sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Wario.
Look, I am nothing if not fair and impartial. Is twerking off the table. If it's on the table, Wario's still got a leg up on Riddick.
Whether it's on the table or off the table, it's still
I've
Wario.
seen Chronicles of Riddick several times. That's the only Riddick film I've seen, but I've seen it several times. He has never danced, and if he has, give me the evidence, and I will change deliberation potentially. But it was literally going to be pie eating contest or dance battle, and that was the only chance Wario had, and the wheel decided that Wario lives another day. That's kind of how I'm seeing this. I'm not happy about it. It is what it is.
That was to show. Okay, I can't read it now. It's good. Wait, is a good if it's to make someone look like a dumbass, a goof, not good. Riddick is a goof if it's to make someone look like a dumbass. I don't know. I just don't buy it.
Look, we can change it later. We can come back since we're still in round one. If evidence is provided, proper evidence is provided.
Send us a clip, Jeremy or Courtney.
Send a clip. Submit evidence to the court if you have it, and we will revisit. If that can be provided by the time round one is over. I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Speaking of which, we're at an hour and we're in round one still. So.
Yep. We are 2/3 through round 1. All right. The Marauder from Doom Eternal.
Oh my god. Okay.
Vortex.
That was for you.
You are my go-to for the knowledge on the Marauder.
He looks tough.
Be fair.
How is
the Marauder
he
is a pain to fight.
Anti-hero though?
He used to be a force for good. I quizzed Vortex on that. I asked him make a case, and he did. I would have to read it again, but he used to be good. He showed me picture evidence, and now he's bad. There's that fits the disclaimer. This is one of those characters where it's like he's not really an anti-hero, but he has been on both sides at one point.
He was a hero who's now a anti-hero.
Correct. Rick Sanchez. Let's
Rick and Morty forever.
100
episodes, 100 years. I love that they still say that in the show. It cracks me up every time.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Oh boy.
All right. This is not prep time, by the way.
Fight to the death. I don't think Rick needs it anyway. But if Rick had it, it would be.
If Rick had it, it'd be over. But I mean, this is a fight to the death. Marauder shows up. He sees Rick. We've seen Rick go toe to toe with the president, just a regular guy that had a lot of gadgets, and he was evenly matched. So we can't just say because Rick wins.
What is this Marauder's powers? I see he's got a big axe. It looks like he's got a little shotgun there.
This is one of the hardest fights in Doom Eternal, at least that I did. So he's tough. This isn't just a regular demon. This is a mini boss. So let's see. Doom Eternal Marauder. I can hold him if I need to. Do you need me to hold him? Anna?
Got little Peter.
You need me to hold him?
He's being a little fussy.
I can hold him. All right, Doom Eternal Marauder.
If you need to get Pete, I can talk for a second here.
Okay.
Regardless of what I do still want to hear what the Marauder can do.
Yeah.
I do still want to hear what he can do. Vortex saying the Marauder is probably the hardest thing about Eternal. So he's a very hard boss.
I remember him being tough.
What are some of his power sets? Like I see he's got an axe. It looks like he's got a gun.
He's physically enhanced. Do I remember something about him being able to clone himself or something? He's just a very physical threat. Large axe. He's got guns. He is not armored. But he can go toe to toe and take several hits from a guy who is armed to the teeth with big demon killing guns.
Okay.
So we can't just assume Rick pulls out wrist laser, shoots him in the head, and kills him.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say with Rick having so many like cyber enhancements.
Yeah. They're in play.
Yeah.
Yeah. My house is bumping right now. My sisters came over to, did you bring the stuff?
Did you bring the stuff? They're dropping off the drugs right now.
He can summon a wolf as many times as he wants.
For the record, Steven told his sisters that they had to bring root beer for Anna.
I did. The wife wanted a root beer float.
That was the condition for coming.
Look at that. They brought me a 6-pack of root beer and home style vanilla ice cream. You did good. You done good, kid. Go ahead and put the ice cream in the freezer.
You done good, kids.
When Anna wants a root beer float, she's going to do this. She's going to snap her finger like this. When she does that, you make her a root beer float.
Great clip.
But yeah, I don't know what to do with this one because if this is just regular Rick Sanchez, the Marauder is a more physically demanding threat than we've seen him take on screen. But at the same time, off screen, when he was on a complete drunken rampage, he killed the villain of the Vindicators, who was probably in universe considered a higher threat level than the Marauder is in the Doom universe. But we didn't see it happen on screen.
And don't you think he would have had prep time for that?
Absolutely.
That
With this being like he is thrown into a fight, he doesn't really have time to stop, and like I think the Marauder is physically demanding enough to where if Rick tried to stop and make something with his various gadgets that he has on him, like again we saw in the Vindicators episode, that still takes more seconds than he has.
Yeah,
because the Marauder is on you at all times. I want to say the Marauder because this is just a straightforward kill each other. But I could be convinced otherwise.
I'm gonna put it in chat.
Yeah.
Since there's no prep time, I'm willing to concede to the Marauder.
We've seen Rick lose a one-on-one where he did not have prep time.
I did not spell Marauder right. I just tear me up, whatever you want. I couldn't find it. So there you go.
Is he smiling at you? Because that means he's pooping if he's smiling at you.
If Pete is smiling, he's pooping.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, we'll see what everybody says, but I think I'm okay with conceding that. So,
okay.
All right, I've got 3 votes so far, and it's the Marauder. So, no, Abita is for drinking. Barbs is for float. What did they get you? What was it didn't look like Abita. It looked like mugs.
I think they got me A&W.
A&W.
So Jeremy, I don't disagree about the contingencies. The Marauder is not just a demon. He is on par with the Slayer who killed all the demons. And my argument is simply because times we've seen Rick put in a situation where it was a spur of the moment fight to the death. Yes, he's had contingencies and plans for things, but his opponents have put up a fight, and often his opponents have been just a regular person. I'm not saying it's a wash, like that he's just going to body Rick, but I think we need to not just say because Rick Sanchez, Rick wins. The Marauder is not just some demon. He is the hardest boss in Doom 2016, and probably I would say he's harder than anything I did in 2016.
I mean, me personally, I think Rick.
Gulag and Courtney, if you could channel that energy fighting about root beers and figuring out this battle, that'd be great.
If this was me picking, I would pick Rick. Honestly, Rick is kind of who I would have thought would end up winning this whole thing, but it's kind of because Rick is kind of he almost is like right on the verge of a genie problem, right?
He is
with the power of the multiverse and all this other stuff. I don't see how he could lose, but I'm willing to concede that a lot of how he wins is that he prepares. And he preps for a lot of situations.
I think that we need to take into consideration the times that we have with characters like this that kind of have an all-powerful vibe to them. You need to take the times they have lost, look at the circumstance, and say that is a potential path to loss for them.
Mm-hmm.
And when a fight just breaks out, that has been when Rick has been his most vulnerable. And he has lost those fights sometimes. Like, if Rick has ever lost, it's been because he was not a step ahead. And
Jeremy, for the record, I'm with you.
Now, you say the Marauder couldn't touch him, but to Vortex's point, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I have to, with Rick being the level that he is. We all know what Rick Sanchez can do, and we all know that we've never seen Rick Sanchez die. Well, that's not true, but we've never seen him.
We've never seen him lose.
We've seen him lose. We haven't seen him get killed in combat.
When are you thinking of that he loses?
There was the fight with the god, the planet that he impregnated. There was that one.
I forgot about that.
There was the fight with the president where he didn't lose, but he was evenly matched with just some guy.
Well, he had the president had like all these different resources, a lot very similar to like what Rick does, but yeah, a regular guy in other.
But the times we've seen Rick closest to winning to losing is in those situations, and the energy force field belt, sure, we know that he has that. But when you consider, Vortex, please correct me, even if I'm giving Marauder more credit than he deserves, but the Marauder's axe is made of the same energy which the Crucible is made, which is the energy sword that the Slayer has, which can kill anything or something like that. It's like BFG levels of powerful. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Vortex and Courtney are echoing what I'm. If it was a character that was slow or wasn't a constant high pressure fight, then I would say if Rick has even 5 seconds to do something, that's going to change everything.
Right.
But the Marauder doesn't give you seconds.
Yeah.
It is a very intense, heavy, like you're constantly moving, and if you aren't attempting to move the situation, like if you stand still for a second, Marauder's going to kill you.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it. I could, and I'm not pushing for the Marauder. I just feel like I'm having to present the argument against Rick because it's his fight to lose, because he is that blanket wins everything character.
Yeah.
I can be told that I'm wrong, but I'm only seeming like I'm on the Marauder's side because his side needs to be presented since he's less familiar.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the few situations, though, where a physically, like a huge physical threat that is fast and hardened by combat and gave the Demon Slayer a run for his money in a toe-to-toe fight. I think a abrupt fight to the death is like one of the only situations where Rick would lose, and it landed there.
Yeah. I think this is one we could argue about all night. So yeah. I'm willing to concede. Again, I think I'm just kind of calling it with no prep time. That's kind of the big differentiator there.
It's just if Rick has prep time, it's an instant win.
Yeah.
Those characters, there are a lot of those characters, and those characters, when it lands without, you just have to be like, okay, we got to fight here. So let's talk it out. Let's figure this thing out. And the question is, does the Marauder have the means to kill Rick? And I think he does. And I think he is more adept with those sudden fights than Rick would be, even though, I mean, you could say all day, well, Rick could just teleport to another universe, but we don't play by those rules here. Because
we don't play by those rules.
And Rick loses this situation again, largely because even though it's not Rick's way, he plays by the rules in this situation. It is not Rick's life is at stake, so he's just going to leave. It is, this is going to end with one of them dying. Who's going to kill the other one first? Yeah. And maybe that goes against the characters, but that's what you have to do to solve these engagements.
That's what you have to do.
And I'm surprised by that. I thought I'm happy that Rick lost for the sake of this list being more interesting.
we would have to have this argument for almost every conversation.
Rick is a great character, and he personifies this category well, but he's a pain. And speaking of a pain for this category, next on the list is Dante. Thanks, Courtney.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Here's your dark horse to probably sweep the whole thing.
Everybody strap in.
Versus Itachi Uchiha.
Ooh. Okay, now I'm not as familiar with this guy.
I am pretty familiar with him enough to know generally what he's capable of.
Okay. Well, let's maybe talk about what they're doing first, and then we can get there.
You guys good? You comfortable? You good? Cool. I'm on the internet. I'm live streaming. No big deal. 5 people watching.
We're on a hot streak tonight.
Oh, man. Silver Tongue.
Oh, Dante, right?
That's Dante.
Gotta be. I don't even know anything about this other kid, but I know Dante is. I mean, that's
Dante is a wisecrack. It is very hard to hurt his feelings.
Right.
He takes few things seriously. He will insult anyone to their face. He will. Right. He will consider you enough of a joke to where if you are a Beyblade demon spinning like a top, he will act like he's shaving his beard on you while you were spinning like a top. He does not care.
On you.
Like, I am bummed that this happened, because I was really hoping that we'd get more from Itachi, because he is one of those characters that is such a good anti-hero.
Yeah.
Because the whole series, just to talk about him real quickly, you know, he's the one that is Sasuke's older brother, and Itachi. Correct me if I'm wrong, any Naruto stands. It's been a while. Itachi killed the entire Uchiha clan and then went on the run, which means in one night he assassinated the top clan in the entire Leaf Village.
Yeah.
He killed them all by himself. Went on the run, and the reason he did it, spoilers for Naruto, was because Sasuke's head was on the line, and they basically were like, "Hey, Itachi, it's either everyone or your brother," and he chose his brother. And so he went on the run and joined up with the Akatsuki for a while. Very, very cool character, very complex. But he's very serious.
I was gonna say, he doesn't sound like the
He
wise
will
Kraken.
He will cut to your core.
With a knife.
No. He's one of those people that, like with Sasuke, especially because Sasuke's entire purpose is kill Itachi, get revenge for my family. Itachi's the kind of person where he is efficient and he knows what to say to get under your skin if he knows you. To where he does not feel emotions. Like, he doesn't let emotions get in the way. So he knows how to cut deep. But the problem is Dante can't really be cut in terms of, like, I don't think a psychological war here in which Itachi, if they're only allowed to use their words, it probably goes to Dante. But at the same time, Itachi is a master of the mind, because genjutsu is his thing, illusions. He literally gets in people's heads and traps them in an eternal nightmare.
Yeah, Jeremy brings up a great point, though. You just said if he knows you, and obviously he wouldn't know Dante, but like,
and again, yeah, that's why I said that. I'm not making a case for Itachi, but he is the kind of person who is surgically precise with everything he does, and that includes getting in your head. But hey, which one of you has seen all the way through Naruto? How does Itachi's genjutsu work? Does he have to know about you to basically get in your head, or does his genjutsu does the Sharingan get in their head for him? Like, what's the deal there? Like,
it's a hallucination. Yeah, he can get in your head.
Is he able to psychologically liberate somebody to know what gets to them and then use that to his advantage? My sisters are a bunch of weebs. They love anime. What?
I mean,
what does the Mangekyo do?
Jeremy, I would think that the argument this was a similar Zuko firebending situation all over again. Of it's an innate ability.
Yeah.
If you have the ability to make your words hit better, I think it would be fair to use that.
Same with like a telepath.
Yeah.
Went after his whole plan. The whole purpose is to make Sasuke stronger so he can fight. And end game, Sasuke hated Itachi. Itachi wanted him to hate him, though.
Right.
And despite
so that he could get
one of those I wish I had stuck with.
Is Itachi?
There's too much now. It's like,
how good is
One
Itachi
Piece.
at insulting?
I'll never do
people?
One Piece now.
Really insult people.
He is in a battle of insults, of out talking somebody who
Doesn't talk much.
Dante takes it.
I think we got to give it to Dante.
That's a bummer, but
I mean, I like the case of he could, like you even said, like Dante is not going to get his feelings hurt pretty easy.
Yeah.
I like to think that this guy, if he had enough time, could hurt Dante's feelings. But I still think, as far as like a battle of insults, like
I don't think Dante's saying anything that will get to Itachi. Right. But if we're going to go off the situation of there's a panel of judges that are, and
they're all going, ooh,
yeah,
like that,
yeah. Then Dante takes it.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, for that situation, if the battle is determined by, like, if it's a silver tongue battle, they can use any of their power set as long as it doesn't hinder the delivery or performance directly. Like, he couldn't do something that forced Dante to not be able to speak, but he could, like, if it was someone who could create illusions, like, let's say Itachi or whatever, he could be like, in part of his insult, create an illusion of Dante and flick it or something, to like something like that, something that uses his abilities to enhance his delivery of speech, but doesn't do anything to prevent Dante from performing at his peak, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I am here. I have to figure out these rules on the fly, but I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair too. It makes sense to me. And like you were saying with the telepath too, it's like, okay, but if I could read his thoughts and know what's going to hurt him.
Telepathy was a bad example. Telepathy is kind of the teleportation to win a race argument, which is not allowed. But it's a case by case basis.
Well, regardless, Dante's taking it, so it's not like
Yeah.
it gave him much of an advantage anyway.
Yeah, telepathy was a bad example, Jeremy. That is not. Yeah. Okay, here's one that I thought was a really interesting pairing that just kind of happened.
I love it when they just kind of happen. Yeah.
Well, all these just kind of happened, but
We all just kind of happen,
Greed from Full Metal Alchemist
Ooh,
Brotherhood.
Okay.
Specifically, Ling Greed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Versus Zagreus.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
I liked this one.
Okay. What are we doing? Fight to the
Okay.
death. This is with prep, right?
No
Well,
prep.
Just no prep. Okay.
Just a fight to the death.
Well, I'm a little vague on Full Metal Alchemist.
Greed is enhanced physically
Mm-hmm.
and has the armor that can be worn down by exhaustion.
Yeah. And then Zagreus obviously is a demigod, so he's physically enhanced, and then has
I will ask the Vortex.
he has an
won't like where this goes.
assembly. He has an assembly of weapons, but not
Yes.
anything. Well, I don't know. Some of them are cool, but
We can assume that Zagreus has some form of a random assortment of boons from the gods.
mhm.
Or should we assume that he has no boons because this isn't a prep time situation?
I think we take out with prep. Maybe we could argue for boons, but I think
I would say, with prep, he would have the boons,
Mhm.
but without it, he's going in just with his weapon. And I don't know. This is a very interesting pairing
Mhm.
because I just don't know where it would go.
Yeah.
Also, hey, you guys know what the game Doom is? It's a game where you play as a space marine who is on Mars. A gateway to hell gets opened up. Vortex, if I'm wrong, I don't care. Fight me. And he kills
If
demons.
I'm wrong, I don't care.
And then the demons end up on Earth, and the space marine still kills demons. Is that a Christian game?
I wish I could see their faces right now because I'm sure
Laura's
they look
giving a great reaction right
I'm
now.
sure.
Is that a Christian game? That's very true. Good point. Stop picking your nose on camera, Shion. Oh man.
Bro.
Nah, they're
What are
not
you
on
doing
camera.
over
They're
there?
not on camera. They're not on
He
camera.
had you cropped out. She was just. They don't think it's a Christian game.
I wish I could have. I wish I. Vortex says you made it sound not Christian, Steven. There you go.
Okay, so I think
Here's the thing. I feel like this is almost a question of who would get exhausted faster.
Yeah. So the armor isn't impenetrable, and it has limits.
Right.
We know that Wrath can break through it with regular swords, but it has to do with speed, probably, right?
Yes.
So is Zagreus and is Zagreus's weapon, do we think it would be strong enough to penetrate or quickly wear down Ling's armor?
I would think so, with it being like
Sorry, Greed's armor.
an Olympus. You know what I mean? Like it's a weapon of the
Right.
gods.
It's a god weapon.
I would think so.
I would think so too. I would think that. Have we seen Greed? Like I'm thinking specifically Envy's true form, the big dog creature thing. Did Greed at any point take that on? Because I would consider that comparable to the things that Zagreus fights. And if Greed cannot take on one of those, I think Zagreus takes it.
It has been a while since I watched that show, so I am not 100% sure. But I feel like only was it Envy, right?
Envy.
I feel like I only really remember Envy doing anything like that.
Well, Envy was the one that
she.
Oh, you mean
morphed.
like yeah. I see what you're saying. Gluttony was kind of a monster creature situation. There was also Sloth, which you could argue is kind of on tier with the things in the underworld. My gut is to give this to Zagreus.
Yeah.
Because I think we've seen Greed Ling struggle against
Himself,
quote unquote,
honestly.
himself and quote unquote regular non-celestial beings.
Yeah.
And Zagreus takes those on regularly.
Yeah, I well, and the other thing I was gonna say is I don't just remember outright Greed being like the most powerful of the sins or whatever that was in there.
He's homunculus. He's squirrely and he's hard to kill, but he's killable.
Yeah. And I think Zagreus is determined enough to find a way to kill him and endure him. So, yeah, no, I think I'm good with that. Him taking it.
Any objection? I'll wait for objection while I go get some water real quick. We'll move faster in a second, I promise.
Greed took on Gluttony and survived. That's such a good show, and I am so foggy on that whole game or show rather. Vortex is coming in here saying Greed dominates all.
He got good. I'm back.
Ro is saying Greed was able to defeat but not win against Wrath. See, and I'm already forget who was Wrath. I forgot.
Wrath is the Colonel.
Okay, yeah. I thought he was Anger.
King Bradley.
Which I guess that's technically the same thing.
It's Wrath.
Okay, yeah.
He was the one with the two swords and the eye patch.
Yeah.
He beat him?
See, I don't remember.
If he beat him, he didn't beat him alone. He had help.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Ling ever really, I don't know. I remember one fight at the very end of the show that he like actually, I almost want to say he died at the end. But I'm so vague on I don't remember everything.
Oh, I think it would be a hell of a fight.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think Zagreus has more than he can throw at Greed.
Literally,
Zagreus
he has 6 weapons.
Well, even take this in consideration. Zagreus can take, even at base level, multiple hits from demonic level attacks that are like lasers, blades, etc. All Greed can throw at him is a lot of punches and various blades. So I think
what I'm seeing too, I think that we can come to a consensus too with chat is that Ling could escape, but he couldn't kill Zagreus.
Right.
And I
Zagreus
think,
is going to kill Ling before Ling can kill Zagreus.
Yes.
Like in terms of just the power that they're bringing to the table, Zag has more.
yes, I think that's an easy argument to close out on. Yeah.
All right, we'll give it to him.
The Führer.
Even though that
What a
ended
great
up
show.
feeling kind of one-sided.
What a great show.
That was an interesting pairing. I enjoyed that pairing.
Yeah.
All right.
Apparently, I need to do a Full Metal Alchemist rewatch.
John Wick
Oh, Wiki Wick.
versus Max from Mad Max.
Oh, okay.
Avenging your pet is not a wheel category, but it should
maybe
be.
it should be. do 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 do. Fight to the death. This is
Did
with
we have
prep.
did we have a
Oh.
rule? This is no prep. Did we have a rule about no back-to-back repeat?
I don't know, but we should, because I feel like we've had 3 back to
Yeah.
back.
So let's shuffle and do it again.
We need to not double up on these. Like, you don't have 2 fight to the deaths in there, do you?
I think I have 1 fight to the death and 1 fight to the death prep. It is in cap prep.
In
It
cap.
goes. I'm pretty sure this is just going to go to John Wick because 1, it's prep time. He's a professionally trained hitman. He is the god killer of hitmen.
Yeah, pretty much. I was kind of going into this thinking, okay, the only thing Mad Max might could win at would be a race.
Ring match, or like a no items. Max is probably a pretty physically what's the word I'm looking for? Like a very physical threat.
Mm.
But this is, they have prep time and all of their means. And John Wick, we know he is trained enough and has enough restraint to where it's kind of a weird theme that he has, where he will often give targets that aren't in the way a choice of whether they live or die.
Mm.
Like he'll stab somebody through the hand into like an aortic valve or whatever, and he'll be like, he will explain to them, this is what I've done. If you remove your hand, you're going to bleed out in 3 seconds. Your choice. So I think Wick has the means and the restraint to where he doesn't lose points of it being a to the death. It not being a to death, because Wick is capable of both. Here, give him to me. I'll take him. Actually, which one of you wants to hold the baby? One of you rock the baby. Give mom a break.
I love Dad, brother Steven coming in right now, and he's giving the orders to the sisters. I
This
love
is
it.
why I invited them.
Oh yeah, this is it.
And make her do something for herself, whether it's
Mike.
a root beer float or taking a shower, or just let her have time for herself.
Mike, how is John Wick
You're on
gonna
camera.
incapacitate with a pencil? All right.
He'll stab it through his aortic valve and say, "This is a number 2 pencil." Aortic valve.
If you remove it, you'll bleed out in 3 seconds.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah.
it's
And Jeremy brings up a good point. Like he is a mutated human, but still, I think he would put up a good fight. But I think, especially with prep, John Wick would know how to take him down.
The prep time really gives it makes it to where it's not really a contest. Because Max, to me, seems like more of a scrapper, kind of dealing with the hand he's dealt kind of character, which is what makes him a good survivor. All right, this one's bizarre.
Steven said there were no more fun ones, and we've had tons of fun.
I mean, I said there were no more funny ones.
Mike, it's incapacitate, not kill. Okay.
Yeah, he wins by incap, not kill.
Not killing. Ooh.
Aiden Pierce. Jeremy is going to be opinionated on this one.
Okay.
But I'm here for it. Bring it. It really sucks that this character is going up against a hacker. Bender from Futurama.
Oh, no. What are they doing? Power of the wheel.
It's a dance battle. Bender's taking it. If it's a pie eating contest, what constitutes as eating? Does it just have to go in the mouth?
Yeah, I think Bender would still win that.
We've gotten a lot of tag and escape tonight.
Yeah. Do you want to? I mean, do you want to re-roll it, or do you want to
leave that to the chat? Chat, do we re-roll? I'll wait a few seconds.
I'll put up a poll really quick.
Have we received while we wait? Have we received any evidence for Riddick being able to twerk?
The court calls for evidence.
The court calls for evidence for Riddick twerking. The current situation is tag escape.
If it is tag and escape, I think if it ends up being Aiden pursuing Bender, it's game over. If it's Bender pursuing Aiden, I'd be interested to hear an argument. I still think
Bender's one of those that's hard to argue for because his power levels are very inconsistent because he's a comedy character.
Right.
But if Aiden is able to hack basically anything at short range.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're using the argument that Aiden in close quarters is able to hack Bender, then I don't know what short of a no items match.
Right.
Bender's going to be able to take other than a silver tongue. Bender's taking a silver tongue all day.
Right. Yeah. All right. We've got some votes in. 4 votes. Everyone says yes to reroll. So let's reroll.
Loving the interaction, everybody. This is what I'm here for.
I thought you were here to be the voice of
voice
of the devil is what I was about to say.
I'm here for a lot of reasons. All right.
Hide and seek.
Flip a coin.
Okay. All right.
Heads, Aiden hides. Tails, Aiden seeks.
I feel like this is a very similar category to what we ended up with, but that's all right.
It is.
All right. Flipping the coin. It is tails.
Aiden is seeking.
I just don't know how. I mean, anybody, even forget Bender, with Aiden's hacking ability, and he's gonna find you. You know what I mean?
That's literally what he does.
That's his whole thing.
He is a surveillance guy.
But then you add on the fact that he's trying to find a robot, a piece of technology that he can hack into. Like, I just don't know how. I don't see any argument for how Bender can win this.
Yeah.
Unless
state your case.
Let me ask you this. Could Bender power down, like turn off, disconnect from the Wi-Fi? I still think Aiden would find him, but I think he'd at least that'd be his best chance.
It'd be his best chance, but Aiden is a professional when it comes to locating people.
Yeah.
He is the kind of person that the hide and seek category is for.
Yeah.
So even if you take that away, if Bender is just a thing to find, he will be found.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it.
You will be found. Jeremy's saying I hate it, but
Thank
Aiden
you.
wins. I'm sorry. It just I don't know how that could go any other way.
Yeah. Thank you for being rational, Jeremy.
Great. Was I the only one that suggested Bender?
You were the only one that suggested Bender, which I was surprised by. That you even suggested Bender.
Well, he was on the. I looked up a list of anti-heroes, and he was on there, and I said, "Ooh, this will be good."
Someone pamper her, do her nails, rub her feet, something. I don't know. Bless her.
Do whatever the pampering is.
All right, we have 2 more in round 1, and then this is going to start going.
We're only faster. 2 hours, or we're only an hour and a half in, so
we're doing okay. This is on track with how we normally do.
Oh yeah, it always goes faster in the second
Halle
round.
Berry's Catwoman.
I love that we had to specify it's Halle Berry's Catwoman.
There's no other Catwoman. Sam Fisher.
Oh my God. Okay. Sure. Power of the wheel. What does the wheel say? Ooh, okay.
I hate it. I hate it so much, but Halle Berry Catwoman. Just one. Because she has all the agility of a cat. She can run across buildings.
Yeah, she can park. Can Sam
God
Fisher do anything like
Dang it. No, he's slow and methodical and a sneaky boy, and he just lost to Halle Berry. I can't even make a case for that. There's literally a scene in her movie where she's like leaping across buildings.
Well, for sake of time, I'm fine with not even arguing about it because
Guys, I'm pissed. I hate the wheel.
the wheel. Hey, look, the wheel is the great equalizer. We can't hate the wheel. All right.
You can end that poll. Oh, it says complete. Okay, good.
Oh, it's done. Yeah,
It's still, yeah.
when I saw it had 4, I was like, nope, we're that's a done deal right there.
I appreciate your honesty, Jeremy. This is the last round, and I'm really excited about this round just because I get to talk about another character that I love that I feel like no one knows.
Okay.
It's not the Big Daddy from
I was
BioShock.
gonna say I'm familiar with the Big Daddy, so
It is Hay from Darker Than Black.
Darker Than
Hey.
Black.
Darker Than Black. Hay, H-E-I.
H-E-I. Okay, all right.
I will explain him after we figure out what they're doing.
Spin that wheel. What are they doing? All right, scavenge and prep. So basically fight to the death, but they can grab anything that's in their immediate area to fight. Now, are we assuming that Big Daddy is still in his Big Daddy suit? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I didn't know if that was a condition with the scavenge prep.
No, it's he is.
Is the little sister involved?
No.
Okay.
So Hay from we all generally know what the Big Daddy is capable of. He's in a big metal suit. He's got a big drill arm. He's somewhat enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
He is a dominating threat against the average person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when provoked, will fight to the death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Hay.
Asher is crying, so keep telling your story. If you need to go with chat for,
well, you need to watch this later then because you need to hear this. I'll give him a minute. Before I go into this,
I'm gonna listen on the headset, so you can keep talking. I'll hear you.
Cool. So Hay is from an anime called Darker Than Black, which it's been a while since I've watched it, and I've never gotten to finish it because whenever I start watching it again, it's removed from the streaming service that I'm watching it on. But Darker Than Black is a series where it takes place in Tokyo, modern day. It's typical anime setting. But there is an event that causes these beings known as contractors to show up. Contractors are basically human, but they're not. I don't know if they were human at one point and they were turned into a contractor, or I don't remember how any of that goes. But contractors have a superpower and a special ability that they can use. That could be anything from ice powers to teleportation to invisibility, stuff like that. But every time they use their power, they have to pay a price. For example, in the first episode, you see a character who has the ability to teleport, I think. His price is that he has to break a bone every time he uses his power. So he teleports to get away, to get to safety, and then breaks a finger. I don't know how the price works. I don't know if it's you pay the price to use your ability again, or if it's like a compulsion. But that is, that's what they have to do. Hay is a contractor who, for plot reasons that I never found out, he does not appear to have a price, but he is a contractor. He is a highly trained kind of assassin, hitman kind of situation. He's basically the contractor killer. He hunts other people with powers and kills them efficiently with little effort.
I'm betting his price is a really cool reveal in the show.
Possibly. If there is a price, people like my brother is the one that got me into it years ago. It was one of the first anime I watched. People thought that his price was eating like a lot of food. But that's not it, according to my brother. So he is
Like he has to eat a lot of food.
yeah, like in his alternate identity, which one of the things I love about the character is that he has such a great duality to where when he's in his streets and just kind of roaming around looking for the next job, he's just a seemingly boring, clumsy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you see him like that, he has a really big appetite. So people thought that was them subtly saying that he has to eat so many calories as his price. But the duality comes out in moments to where, like, and I love these moments, you can see when no one's looking that he goes from like your typical black-haired anime protagonist with a smile on his face to his eyes and facial expression just deaden to where you see the contract killer. So his coat is bulletproof. He has a Kevlar vest underneath, I believe. He uses knives that are attached to wires. And his power is that he can conduct electricity by touch, which is really bad news for Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Because it's enough electricity to the point to where the way he kills a lot of people is that he'll touch their head and just fry their brains, basically. And the reason he uses a knife with a wire attached is, one, for traversal, so he can use it as kind of a zip line kind of situation. Or he can tie people up with the tether, touch it, and shock them to death. Very cool character.
So he's
haven't thought about him in a while.
He's got a lot of range with
He's
that.
got range capability. Yeah. He is very, as far as I remember, he is good on his feet. He is adaptable. To the point, there was one guy who his power was that he could snap his finger and his blood would explode. Like he could spray some blood on somebody, snap his finger, and it would detonate.
Interesting.
So Hay at one point used his blood, I think, to conduct electricity to him.
Gosh, okay, cool.
So yeah, he's kind of like Scorpion, but with Raiden's powers. That's a good way to put it. If he was a vigilante. So yeah, what are we thinking?
The electricity, I think, is a really interesting part of it, because I think that kind of takes it to the next level of where he could really do some damage. Because the whole other time you were talking, I was like, really all this guy has for him is what I think any person going up against a Big Daddy has, which is just evasion, of any kind, because the Big Daddies are slow. But with the lightning, once you brought that in, I was like, ugh, that's going to be hard to argue against. We
do know, like, one of the things that you have in BioShock is plasmids. One of the plasmids is a shock. So it's like a quick lightning zap. But using the logic in game of you fight seemingly regular people in game, and the shock plasmid does damage, but is not an insta kill. That shock is able to damage the Big Daddy. By comparison, the haze voltage that he's putting out is enough to fry somebody's brain within seconds, to the point to where they don't survive coming in contact with his ability. Which would mean that Hayes' ability, which seemingly doesn't have a limit, exceeds the output of the plasmid, which we know does damage to the Big Daddy by a ton, by probably 5 times. That with Hayes' ability to pretty much, he's very evasive. Yeah, he's a very squirrely fighter. He's hard to hit. And if he was to be shot, which the Big Daddy does have a gun, it's not an instant out for him. He is somewhat bulletproof. I think where the scavenge part comes into play, because the problem with scavenge,
we haven't really even talked about that.
We can assume that would have to do with utilizing things that are found, and also the terrain itself. That's going to come into Hayes' favor much more. Like, if we were to assume even that this fight's happening in Rapture, which, let's just say for argument's sake, it is
where you find Big Daddy.
It's where you find Big Daddies. You're surrounded by water. Water is leaking everywhere. There's metal everywhere. Both great conductors of electricity. Hay is going to leverage the situation through scavenging. I think he takes it with no contest.
Yeah, I do too. Was there any, and there is prep too. So, I mean, even
There is
there,
prep,
he
yeah.
could,
And he is a planner.
yeah.
Not quite Kiritsugu, but he
Right.
is a planner.
Yeah, I don't see how he could lose this one.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
I'm
All
good
right.
with that. That's round
Last round.
Oh.
Last call for Riddick twerking. I will not hear this argument again.
one. I've seen no evidence, so I think we have to
Okay.
give it. I think we have to move on.
We're moving on then. All right. We're gonna have to do it this way now.
I also appreciate that we put out a last call and then did not wait for response.
I mean, we're not there yet. We've still got a few rounds before it would be affected by Wario being the one to advance. Kiritsugu Emiya versus Billy Butcher.
Now remind me again, this guy,
Yes, I would love one.
he kills magical people.
He finds a way. He finds the weaknesses
Mm-hmm.
of otherwise enhanced people and exploits them against Billy Butcher.
I was about to say, are
does
you
the
talking
exact
about
same
Billy
thing.
or are you talking about this other
Yes.
kid?
Kiritsugu, the benefit he has, though, is that he himself is enhanced, although he doesn't rely on it as much as your typical mage does.
I mean, I think we could argue that depending on what the situation is, Billy can also be enhanced. So let's just
I
see.
would not use that argument for this because it's show Billy and
I mean, show Billy enhances. So I love the wheel. I love the wheel so fucking much.
I think I have to demand a recount
No,
because there is literally no evidence for either of these edging out the other one in a pie eating contest, Jake. We've got nothing. And both of these characters deserve better than this.
I think Billy could put down some pies. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you
I-
could argue
let me-
that Kiritsugu could quicken
let
the pace
me-
of his metabolism.
Let me.
And-
I will be willing to concede a recount on this one, with the condition that the next round is automatically a pie eating contest. Like the next whoever comes next after this is automatically a pie eating contest.
No, because those characters also deserve better.
Steven is out here trying to take all the fun
Look,
away from the
look,
wheel. You
look.
know what I mean?
I will concede to you. Round 4 will make a pie eating contest.
So
I'm sorry. So fourth fight of this round.
fourth fight of this round.
Yes. It'll be a pie eating contest.
Fine. Do a reroll then. Steven out here trying not to have any fun.
This is fun. Not having to justify. Oh man. Jeez.
Now, Steven, please feel free to correct me because you know this anime character better than I do. I would think if this was a battle of insults.
This is a battle of wits. Not
I know, but I'm getting to that.
Oh, if it's insults,
If
Billy's
it was
winning against any of these
insults,
guys.
Billy would win.
Billy's winning against anyone.
In the
if
case of wits, though, not by any means, I'm not saying Billy is dumb, but I feel like Billy still isn't the smartest guy in the room. You know,
he is good at leveraging situations for his benefit, but he does not plan near as much as Kiritsugu does.
That's what I was the argument I was gonna make
So
as well.
Billy is good at leveraging situations, and he's lucky, but I don't think it really his wits come more with how he's able to manipulate people.
Mhm.
Kiritsugu's wits are more so catered towards manipulating the situation. Like using resources he has to stack the deck in his favor.
Right.
So in this situation, since it's 1v1, and I doubt there's any sort of manipulation that they could do to each other, we would have to assume that this battle of wits is related to a situation. Like
Right.
which one is more cunning or clever at leveraging everything to their own means, not leveraging the other, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
I think Kiritsugu takes it.
I do as well.
Okay.
There's no need to argue or even discuss further. I think it would be a tough fight, but I do think
Yeah.
and not even a
Yeah.
fight, but
Kiritsugu isn't great with people. Billy is really good at manipulating people, but that's not what it was about. So, all right, my boy making it through 2 rounds. I'm so happy.
The dark horse.
Punisher. And the heads of several heroes and villains. Those might just be villains. Versus Red Hood. It had to happen.
A really interesting pairing. It's like the Marvel DC equivalents of each other.
Yep. Thank you. Ooh, you can give me a spoon?
Incapacitation with prep.
So
I would
the
think
incap I think helps Jason. The prep helps Punisher.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I feel like by far Red Hood, even though he's turned to killing, I think he's way more.
He's more equipped to incap.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think Jason's leaning towards. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna. Yeah. One sec. Incap prep. Jason's leaning towards he is more equipped for incapacitation than Punisher is. Than Punisher, like if we're looking at it like on a scale, right? Jason, his incapacitation capability outweighs Punisher more than Punisher's affinity for prep time outweighs Jason's, because Jason is still a planner. He's trained by Batman,
right? The guy who has a contingency for everything,
right? So while Jason is more hot-headed than that, he knows how to do it and he can. So I think I would have to give it to Jason.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think it's the incapacitation. Like you're saying, it's his. If it
was a battle to death prep, then Punisher would take it.
Yeah, yeah. His affinity to incapacitation outweighs Punisher's affinity for prep.
Yeah.
So
don't get me wrong, Jason will kill, but Jason's trained in various incapacitation methods, and where he learned most of his stuff is from a guy who refuses to kill. So I think that needs to be considered.
Yeah, no, that definitely is a huge portion of it as well. So,
okay, we're moving through these. Constantine versus we're kind of almost done. You guys okay? You bored? Is Peter still entertaining you?
Is Peter entertaining you?
You drew Peter? Come show everybody.
No.
They've seen worse drawings, I promise.
Yeah, they've seen me.
Jake was supposed to draw me as a French girl, and he drew me as a zombie necromorph creature.
You were a French girl. Just accept it.
When I drew Jake like a French girl, I just drew him like a stick figure with a mime striped shirt, little pokey nipples, and he said "oui" or "bonjour."
Oui, bonjour.
It was one of those things. Okay, let's shuffle the wheel.
Shuffle the wheel. Power the wheel, everybody.
I love these streams. They're so fun.
They're great. And they always make... I've already got my TikTok planned out. I know which ones we're going to. It's going to be a good
Fight
time.
to the death, no prep.
Okay. All right. I think prep would have helped Constantine.
Absolutely.
But I don't think it really...
But
without prep, I just don't think it matters. Ultimately.
Constantine, in what I've seen of him, is kind of that guy to where if there was a sorcerer character that handles the lack of preparation the best, it's probably Constantine.
He's a very good improviser, yeah.
He's got like relics and books and talismans and all these things that he can just kind of be like, well, I'm in a bad situation, so I'm going to sacrifice this thing to be unkillable or be able to fly for the next 15 seconds. So he's got a lot of contingencies
Yeah.
just because of all of the stuff he's done over the years.
Yeah.
And he's really good at using those to his advantage.
Yeah.
So he does have more at his fingertips than Venom does. But do we think Venom could overpower Constantine quick? Because I think that's the trick. Because in a prolonged fight, Constantine's going to take it. But I think if Venom can take him out quickly and efficiently, before Constantine can figure out what the situation is and capitalize on it.
I feel like with as many demons as Constantine's fought, I don't think he would really be super phased by Venom.
Yeah. Venom is basically I would think physically to scale with things he fights on the regular.
Yeah. And again, as we've talked about, sound and fire are kind of his kryptonite.
And we know Constantine uses fire.
And like I feel like in any fight with magic, fire is just kind of a default thing you're going to throw pretty early on. So if he, and I think he would, if he throws fire pretty early, he'll realize, oh, this thing doesn't like fire. Well, I can do fire. And I don't know, he'd open a portal to hell or something. I don't know. It's just, I don't think Venom would stand much of a chance there. The real debate is, would Venom be able to counter Constantine? And I don't know that he could without leaving Eddie. And I think we're gonna have to assume that this is the Venom that like he and Eddie are bonded together, like intimately or whatever. So,
I would say yes. Both. Well, no, I would say Eddie dying would be enough
to make Venom
to consider this a win for Constantine. Because like we said before, Eddie is the symbiote needs Eddie to be Venom, or at least needs a host. So if you kill one, you kill the other. So I would think that either dying would consider a win.
Yeah,
but I think Constantine would kill Eddie just for good measure.
Yeah,
he's that kind of
guy. That would be a really fun fight to watch.
It would.
I forget the channel that does that, the Death Battle. But that could be fun.
One time they did Aang versus Edward from Full Metal Alchemist.
That's a good one.
And it was an absolute slaughter, but they did a really good job making Edward feel like Edward, to where even when he was about to die, he was still
cracking jokes.
Yeah. All right, so Constantine takes it.
Brody, I don't know if Alex Sam was on board for this, but Brody at one point wanted to name a girl Winnie. Winry, yeah. So it's a cute name. It's a cute name. I think it could work, but anyway. All right, what do we got next?
So are you still upholding
I was just about to say, if my count is correct, this is 4, so it's a pie eating contest, whatever happens.
If we go forward with this, the blood is on your hands.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm A-okay with that. Did you know when you said this that it was Wario was going to be that fight?
Cannot confirm or deny whether I knew.
Okay. Well, Wario then. Absolutely. Pie eating contest.
Guys, my hands are tied.
I mean, unless you can make the argument that like Starkiller could somehow like use the Force to hyper condense the pies.
No one is beating Wario in an eating contest, Jake.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Well, it would have been a battle of wits, which I feel like Wario might still win that, because Starkiller's not smart. And Wario...
I lied.
He's got his own company.
He does.
So he has to be at least a little smart. Wario takes it.
Yeah,
Just remember, Jake made that decision.
Hey, that's when Stevens offered that up. I was like, look, somebody's got to take that pie, and I'm fine with
All
it
right.
being Wario. So
This is the clashing of the Titans right here.
okay. Got the Marauder.
The Marauder
Who took out Rick Sanchez. Still a little bitter, but hey.
versus Dante.
Mm.
Vortex and I have an ongoing debate of who would win between Doomslayer and Dante, and I am adamant that Dante would take it.
I mean, Dante is a demon slayer, correct? That's like part of what he's doing.
Yes, he is half demon. He kills demons for fun and for work, but it's business and pleasure for him. And he is he is nigh unkillable in a lot of situations.
Let's see what I was about to say. We gotta consult the wheel. What does the wheel say? Ring match with prep.
Now that's interesting.
So limited space.
That's very interesting. Okay.
Now, have we talked about the ring match is pushing someone outside of the ring, right? It's not necessarily that we're fighting to the death in this situation.
Correct.
What sort of... I mean, I still think I could believe that Dante could kill this person in a ring, but I think a more interesting question is, with the Marauder being so aggressive and forward in his attacks, could he push Dante back far enough to push him out of the ring?
Based on Dante's top speed, Dante is still significantly faster than the Marauder.
Okay. So it's more like Dante would be pushing him back faster than he would push Dante back.
Potentially. How I would see this going would be if Marauder couldn't take it very quickly, then Dante is going to turn it around within a couple blows to where Vortex, make your case. So the current fight is ring match with prep time. Both have a somewhat understanding of what the other is capable of. Keep in mind, Dante is a demon hunter, so he is good at assessing situations. So prep time does help him more than it helps the Marauder, unless if the Marauder has... tell me if the prep time would help the Marauder at all. I don't know.
I wouldn't think so, but I'm certainly not the expert there.
So it's the first one to leave the ring. Let's say the ring is...
Do you fight the Marauder in an arena or anything like that?
In a small room.
Okay.
If I remember right. But I think the Marauder puts up a very strong initial push. And I think with Dante being fully aware of the rules of engagement, I think if the Marauder could not...
I love how Vortex's first comment was, "Oh no."
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Vortex. Since the Slayer took out the Marauder in tight quarters, which it was tough, but he did it. And Dante outpaces the Slayer in terms of physical stats, probably. I think with the prep time helping him even a little bit, I think Dante takes it.
Yeah. That's where I would lean as well. So
yeah.
I'm fine with that.
If we have Dante and Virgil in the big one, like the final tournament, that's going to be...
What an interesting way
funny
to bring it all down.
Yeah. All right. We have... so someone's going to have to fight twice or skip round 2.
Okay.
We'll determine when we get to that. Zagreus.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting. Versus John Wick.
All right. What does the wheel say? Consult the wheel. Ba 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 da bow. Pew. Fight to the death. With prep. Fuck.
But that means Zag gets boons from the gods.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick is just too human.
Yeah.
He would have a chance if it was hide and seek, or battle of wits, or let's see what else we got. Probably not Silver Tongue.
Yeah. Do we see any type of situation where he goes up against someone with supernatural abilities and wins? Talking about John Wick.
Yeah, kind of, but not really.
Okay.
There, people he fights, and honestly himself included at points, take way more punishment than they should.
Right.
But in this kind of situation, like if we were to determine that Zagreus was using a regular sword and John Wick was using a regular sword, Wick is surprisingly competent, like exceedingly competent, honestly,
Right.
with all forms of weaponry.
Right. Yeah.
He would put up a fight,
Right.
potentially win, if the weaponry and if Zagreus was as killable by Wick's weapon as Wick was by Zagreus's weapon,
Right.
Wick would probably win that fight.
Mm-hmm. But that's not the case.
But that's not the case. This is fight to the death prep, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To the death prep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's kind of the ultimate case, is just because Zagreus has enhanced weapons, has enhanced physicality. I'm willing to believe that John Wick could put up a fight, but I don't think he wins in this situation.
Yeah. If Wick, like I said, if we were to assume that Wick had a weapon that could kill Zagreus to the degree that Zagreus's weapons could kill him,
Mm-hmm.
Wick would take it. Wick is a more capable person, because Zagreus, a lot of what he does, he is not a graceful fighter.
Right. Yeah.
He is very much a weapon brawler.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of finesse in what he does. It's a lot of unpredictable savagery kind of going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so there are situations where Wick could win, but I just don't think that there's enough to assume that this is one of those situations. So I think Zag has to take it.
All right. I'm good with that. No arguments there.
Okay. If she makes it through another match, you boys
It's the iceberg all over again.
just talking about it. Of course, talking about Catwoman. No, that's too large.
All right. What are we doing? What are we doing here? There's, Steven, I'm just here to tell you, there's no way Aiden would beat the Halle Berry in a dance battle. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
I hate the wheel.
Power of the wheel, baby.
All right, Catwoman's gonna fight twice.
I'm fine with that. That's a fair assessment there.
Freaking skank.
Wow, Steven. All right,
I'm
let's see.
mad. I'm so mad.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. Power of the wheel, baby. Ring match. Now this is interesting because obviously Catwoman. It's a lot of athleticism, a lot of hand-to-hand combat experience. But I think with your boy's lightning power,
If she touches him, she's dead.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, how do you fight somebody that you can't? How do you fight somebody with hand-to-hand combat when you can't touch them?
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna be hard to do.
Bye, bitch.
So there you go. That canceled out.
Oh my gosh. All right, moving into round 3.
Wow.
I'm surprised how many of the characters I really like are still in this thing.
That's, it always boils down that way as we get further and further in.
Yeah. Kiritsugu Emiya versus Jason Todd Red Hood.
Jason Todd.
I can't. I just see your phone. What am I looking at?
One of the sisters has come in to give some evidence of something.
That's funny because Jake said earlier that I should draw a beard on Peter's face.
Did they draw a beard on Peter's face? Did you tell them that I said that you should? It needs to be right in front of where your face is right now for us to see it.
Good job.
I love it.
Made Jake laugh. Okay.
Now, did you tell them that I also suggested that you shave your head?
No.
Right now.
I'm probably going to shave my head the next few weeks, though.
Me and Asher are getting a haircut Friday. It's going to be his first haircut ever.
Interesting.
Ooh. Now, your boy here, does he use a lot of weapons?
He uses a lot of weapons, but he's also enhanced.
Because he uses magic, right? Or am I?
He is capable of using magic, yes.
Does he need an item to use magic?
He does not.
Okay, so he's not like a Harry Potter wizard.
I think Jason
unlike the John Wick situation, Jason fights superpowered people all the time.
So does Kiritsugu.
Yeah. I'm just throwing that out there for Red Hood not being enhanced.
So in a situation, and this isn't just no weapons, this is no items.
Right.
In a situation where it was a no items fight, just these two dudes trying to punch each other's heads off.
Mm-hmm. I mean, would your anime guy be able to use magic?
Yeah. Doesn't take items.
Okay, yeah.
It's innate. So with if it was just these two dudes see each other and they're just trying to punch each other to death.
But one can punch with magic.
Well, Jason would win.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be close.
Mm-hmm.
But with prep time and Kiritsugu being the planner that he is, I think that edges him out. I could be proven wrong. But
so you're saying anime guy would win?
I'm saying Kiritsugu would win, yes.
Yeah.
Because no items is more of a hindrance to Jason than it is to him.
Mm-hmm.
And prep is more of a boon to him than it is to Jason.
Mm.
So it's kind of a perfect storm for him to take it. And the guy that the final fight with my favorite anime fight, the one that happens with Kiritsugu in it, that dude is extremely physically capable.
Mm.
He's like a fully trained martial arts master with his own little bits of magic that he can use, and he's got weapons as well, and they were equal.
Mm.
Granted, Kiritsugu had contingencies in place. For example, he had Excalibur's sheath on him, which saved him from a kill shot.
Mm-hmm.
Where Kide was this guy's name, hit him so hard that Kiritsugu was immediately like, that should have shattered all of my ribs and bursted my lungs.
Mm.
But the sheath saved him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was in a situation to where Kiritsugu, that was the first shot that Kirei made, and he didn't land another one.
Mm.
So that was without prep time, fighting a dude that's probably as physically capable in a fist fight as Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And after one hit, Kiritsugu was able to reassess and take back control of the situation.
Yeah.
I think he takes it, and it's largely because of the situation heavily being in his favor as opposed to Jason. And I love Jason.
Yeah.
This isn't me like just repping my boy based on the way we've been rating him this whole time. This just works out for him.
Yeah. I totally think that's fair. I think Jason being limited to no items really limits him. So
Yeah.
I think that's fair all the way around.
All right.
What we got?
This is going to be interesting.
Constantine. I'm wondering if it's going to boil down to Constantine and your boy versus Wario.
That's going to be an interesting fight. Kiritsugu and Constantine.
They sound like they're very similar, although I would argue that your anime guy would still benefit from prep more than Constantine would.
He would. But
vice versa, if it was with no prep, I think Constantine might could take it.
But, well, on the flip side of that, though, something that Kiritsugu has to his advantage is that
he can manipulate time, right?
He has this gun. It's
It's a race.
Wario doesn't get the motorcycle.
I'm fine with that. I still think Wario is pretty fast.
Not on his feet. He's fat and slow.
He's fast.
In every game that he's in where there is a weight class, he is heavy. In Smash, in Mario Kart, which constitutes slower movement. He does not get the bike.
Mm-hmm. I think regardless of if Wario is fast or not, Constantine probably has some sort of spell that can amplify his speed, or at least make him either fly. Does teleporting, is that allowed in racing?
No.
Okay.
Point A to B has to be like there's a path that has to be traversed. Mm-hmm. You cannot skip.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to respin? Because this one's hard.
I mean, I don't think it's that hard. I think it's easily Constantine wins it. But
are we going to get significant backlash for saying Wario doesn't get his vehicles?
I mean, is there any? Mad Max. Like, if this had been Mad Max, we would have given him his car, wouldn't you think?
I don't know, because with characters that are known for their vehicle, that's the question. Like, do they get their vehicle in a race? And we haven't really had to run into that yet.
Let's assume, for sake of argument, that Wario did have a kart from Mario Kart or his motorcycle from Smash. I think it would be close.
Well, if we're going by the motorcycle in Smash, let's say he has the motorcycle in Smash because it's an ability that he has to make it appear. Mm-hmm. If we're going by the speed of the motorcycle, it's not that much faster than him on foot.
Yeah.
Just going by the movement speed from left to right on screen.
Yeah.
So is that increase in speed enough to say that he can outpace Constantine's magic?
I think it would just make it closer, but I still think Constantine would win.
I'm fine
with his magic.
Really, I just want to see Wario go away.
I think this is the right way for him to go. So
okay. Now this one is going to be.
Constantine coming in as the dark horse here.
I know.
He
this
does.
is the
He does
one
have his
that
motorcycle
decides-
in Smash Vortex, for sure.
Yes. Dante versus Zagreus. Again, really cool pairing.
Yeah, yeah. What are they doing? That's what always really brings it home. Just a good old-fashioned
Man,
fight to
Manny.
the death.
Jeez.
We haven't had a good old-fashioned fight to the death in a second.
All right.
I mean,
So,
I'm not the biggest Dante stan by any means,
mhm.
but I feel like he takes it over Zagreus. I feel like
Yes.
he's probably a more competent fighter
Mhm.
than Zagreus.
If
Just
it- if-
outright.
if prep was involved, we could imply that Zagreus has boons.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say that he's at a disadvantage here, lacking prep time, because I don't think either of them gains that much.
This doesn't have prep time though, did it?
Right. No,
Okay.
it does not.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that would give Zag a significant chance.
Right.
But I think in this situation,
He's well outdone.
they are swinging at each other with stuff that could kill, like they could kill each other with the weapons they have potentially. Right. Dante outpaces what we know Zagreus being capable of physically, so he takes it.
Yeah, I think that's how I see it going. So,
yeah,
I'm good with that.
All right. It's on my foot. Okay. Good job, Zagreus. You made it further than I thought you would. All right. So, do we pit Hay against Kiritsugu or save him for the next round and pit him against Dante?
Yeah, let's let him push to the next round, I think.
So Kiritsugu versus Constantine then?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, semifinals.
Bum. This was one we were already pre-arguing this one, so.
Yeah. So I'll explain, if it becomes relevant, why Kiritsugu might have a shot here.
Let us see what the wheel says. Scavenge prep. I don't think. Well, maybe it benefits the anime guy.
I think scavenge prep, if there isn't a form of ingenuity in the characters, like ingenuity being the ability to create things. Like I think of like a Phineas and Ferb or a Rick Sanchez. They are the ones scavenge is created for. But if it's not a character that really benefits from the scavenge element, then we can assume, okay, well, do they benefit from having a lay of the land? Because to scavenge, you have to understand the terrain.
Right.
So I think Kiritsugu does benefit from that. Because like I said, he's very good at leveraging a situation to his advantage. And I don't know enough about Constantine to say whether or not he is.
I mean, he's very similar in that regard. I mean, this is a really good pairing, and it's kind of funny that they've both made it as far as they have, because ultimately I think they have made it this far because they are very similar.
So let me ask you a question about scavenge prep. Normally when we say prep time, we assume that it's the characters have preparation to fight who they are about to fight. with scavenge prep, do we offer them that same courtesy of preparing for the fight that they are going up against, like preparing with knowledge of their opponent, or is the prep more spent in preparing weapons / the like getting used to like understanding the terrain, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in this particular case, maybe terrain is more. That's maybe more what the argument is in this situation.
So if Constantine goes into this situation not knowing a lot about Kiritsugu, let's say they know enough about each other that they both have the capacity for magic. They are both adept at killing. Kiritsugu has this gun. Yes, Vortex, I remember that. Oh, man. Remember when we learned that Ferb was 9 years old and that he was being groomed by Vanessa?
Don't groom Ferb.
Don't groom Ferb. We love Ferb. Kiritsugu has this gun. I forget what it's called, but it's the super cool break open single shot pistol. And the Emiya family, because the different families have families can have magic specifically for them. The Emiya family, their magic is like the crest is about like the Emiya name is about binding and unbinding. Like the family crest has something to do with that, where Kiritsugu's son would be able to bring things together and make them strong, but Kiritsugu had his origin, which is like in his blood or something. Let's say there's magic in his blood. When he was younger, his mentor removed some of his origin and infused it in bullets that he fires with this single shot gun. And because this is one of the things I love about this show, because it has such cool little details that make sense when explained. Because his family's magic is about the binding and unbinding, his origin infused in bullets allows his bullets to break apart magic. So when he was fighting this one guy who had this magical shield, this guy didn't know he had that gun, didn't know anything about him. Kiritsugu just pulls the gun and takes a shot, goes straight through the magical shield and hits the guy in the throat, and his magic is draining.
Wow. So
that is one of his ace in the holes that he's got, where if he has one good shot that someone is not expecting to be able to penetrate magical defenses,
right,
and he knows that that's the shot he needs to take, then he could potentially win. So the question there is, can Kiritsugu kill Constantine within the first few seconds of this fight, or severely debilitate him? Because if not, Constantine wins, I think, because he's got more at his disposal to respond with, but Kiritsugu has more effective things up his sleeve for the initial fight.
I think a case could be made because Constantine is a talker,
right?
He is very much a silver tongue, can weasel his way out of anything type of character. I think if these two walked up on each other, even knowing anything, Constantine would talk and would try to disrupt him with words, Yeah. And I just think based on what you were saying, it's really a question of, would Constantine be prepared for that first attack? But right. I think even more damning is that if this weapon can break through magic, like even if we were to say Constantine was going to try to rile him up and therefore he was prepared for an attack, I don't think on first blush he would be prepared for an attack that can break through any magic he put up as
And
a
it's
shield.
essentially it looks like a regular gun.
Right.
It's the bullets that are special.
Right.
He has surprised people with it before. So Kiritsugu's not a talker. He would not be goaded into talking unless if he was in full control of the situation.
Right.
And if talking would benefit him somehow.
Right.
So do we think he can land a kill shot?
Again, I think Constantine would defend, but if that bullet can go through magic, I think it would be negated. And I think, he could get that shot in and catch him off guard. I think that's a feasible point of conversation, or however you want to break it down. But yeah.
And something else that could be said, we see him use his Excel speed magic to quicken the pace of his reload. So since it's a single shot break open,
so even if he missed, he could have another shot. Yeah,
very quickly, not instantly, but very quickly. He even goes through like the calculation in that final fight. He goes through the calculation. It takes me this many seconds to reload my gun, so this is how much time I have. Very methodical but fast-paced fight. I love it so much. You got to watch this show.
Okay.
So we think Kiritsugu takes it.
I think
Is that
so.
what I'm hearing?
I think so. Yeah.
That
I
is
hate it.
Wild. And I love Constantine. I swear I'm not weighting this in his favor, but I feel like if the wheel has loved anyone tonight, it's been Kiritsugu. He has gotten so freaking lucky.
It's all about the wheel, man.
Because it's been basically prep time every single time for him.
All right, we got Dante
versus Hay. I do not see how Hay can win this.
I was just about to say I don't either.
There is one that he could win, and I swear if it lands on that, oh my god, it's gonna be great.
Let's see. Dance battle, and it's gotta go to Diablo. It's gotta go to Dante.
It's gotta go to Dante. He's literally dancing.
That's literally he's dancing in the picture.
I was really hoping for pie eating contest.
Really? Does
Hay would win because he's got the huge appetite.
Oh.
I'm just spinning it just to see.
Now Steven wants a pie eating contest.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, but it already.
Yeah, no, it was decided by dance battle, Dante.
It was decided by dancing. Let it go.
Just let it go.
I do not see how Kiritsugu takes this one.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
All right, the fight to win all fights. Let's see what they're doing.
Another Devil May Cry character.
Devil May Cry, man, I'm telling you, it's wild.
Well,
ring match with prep, so that would benefit. Kiritsugu, is that how you say his name?
Kiritsugu. Kiritsugu. There's nothing that he can throw at him.
Really?
Because even with his excel speed, he has to excel by a multiplicative. So if he says double excel, triple excel, basically, there is a finite limit to how much he can accelerate, and there is the more the faster he accelerates, the more limited it is. So it is mainly for short bursts or for quick actions. And it being a ring match, he doesn't have the benefit of keeping his distance and laying traps. He just has the benefit of knowing this guy is physically better than me in every way, basically.
Yeah.
So this is the one situation where prep would not help him at all. I don't think, except for knowing his opponent.
How do you prep for a person like Dante?
Exactly. I don't think the origin rounds are doing anything. because there's a difference between demonic and magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see a way.
God, that's wild. I don't know enough about either of these to argue.
We can respin. We can respin.
I mean, is it worthy of a respin? I mean, I think either way. What's a situation that your guy would win? You know.
That's a great question. I don't know.
I think it's got to go to Dante.
Yeah, it goes to Dante. And I love Dante, but man, what a dark horse situation. I thought it was going to be something like, I'm looking up at the list. I thought it was going to be like a Star Killer versus Dante situation for the last round. Or a Star Killer or a Rick and Dante. I knew Dante was going to sweep.
I hate that Rick got pushed so early.
Yeah.
That's maybe my one regret for this whole list, but
yeah. But
give it to Dante, man.
That's why we have the wheel.
That's why we have the wheel.
The good news is we have both Devil May Cry characters. Both key characters have already won their round or their tournament, so they can't sweep anymore.
But do they sweep the whole thing? That's the question.
I will make sure that the first round that they take part in is Virgil and Dante killing each other.
There you go. I think that's fair. That way it's not just a slow burn for that fight.
Yeah. And that's the trouble with doing these is that we want to do characters that everybody loves, but there's so many overpowered characters.
Yes. Yeah.
And if we had kept this more to, and I even asked Courtney, I was like, state your case for Dante. Because to me, Dante, I don't really see him as much of an anti-hero, but based on my my rules, she was like, Dante's in it for Dante, no one else. And I was like, that's valid. So I allow it. And
now we have this, Steven. This is what we get.
If nothing else, I really enjoy doing these because I get to talk about characters like Hei and Kiritsugu. And it's fun for me to consider like, oh, well, this character did this at this point and like really talk through those things.
Yeah.
And while, so I love Dante. I think the character of Dante is great. Austin says, I'm not allowed to give as many characters as I can think because, gods. I think
that's like, and that's why we brought the wheel into this is because it's so easy for these characters to just be so overpowered in a specific situation, but then you throw pie eating at them and it's like, oh, okay, well, never mind. Maybe they're not the most powerful thing in the world.
Right. And the wheel has been good to us.
The wheel has been good.
No, Austin, I will not use Gilgamesh. That dude sucks. He's from Fate Zero. He's the archer heroic spirit. And he's a douchebag.
Oh man, that stinks.
Yeah. You got to watch it.
Okay.
It's a quick watch, beautiful animation. Kiritsugu is such a cool character. And they're just a lot of likable characters. And the whole time you're watching, you're just like, everyone has to die. Like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But for some of them, you can't wait. But
Lee Allison tried that one when we first, I think, shoot, it's man, what is it called? Sword Art Online. That was the very first anime that like we really watched. And so when we went looking for like, okay, what's another show that people like that we could try? Fate was one that we looked at, and I don't think I made it very far. I think she made it further than I did.
Was the main character a redheaded dude?
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember anything other than that blonde girl who was King Arthur, and I remember just not vibing with it at first. But I need to give it a better try. I don't know. That was so early in my anime watching that like I was still figuring out sub and dub and like how do I like it and what am I good at. So yeah,
I have watched the first half of Unlimited Blade Works Austin and I did not like it because it was so different from Zero because it turned into like a high school drama. And don't do that. To me, like with Fate Zero, Arthur being gender swapped didn't really bother me.
Yeah, no,
And that's saying something for me to say that. Because I hate gender swapping characters either way.
Steven does not like that.
But I thought they did a good job with her character to where it never felt like, look how progressive we are, girl king. It just felt like, here's an iteration of this character that is
different. Yeah.
That it's different, that still feels true to the spirit of the legend.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah, you should.
Well,
that and Darker Than Black. I'll see if I can find that one somewhere.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, folks. That was our tournament. Anti-hero versus anti-hero. Dante takes it. He'll be back again whenever we eventually decide we need to do. We've done enough of these preliminary ones, and we can actually go into a full bracket.
We have 3. Just 27 more to go.
27 more to go. Yeah, I think that's a good goal.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, this has been ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime. We do tier lists, character tournaments, all that jazz, whatever we want to talk about. We do this every Monday night, usually about 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. So be sure to check us out there. Of course, subscribe to ChortleGames.com. It's our YouTube channel. You can catch us there live. Of course, be on the lookout for a short on YouTube or a TikTok on TikTok. I'm sure I'll do one from this, but we've got lots of other content coming in. If you miss any live streams, there's usually at least one good moment that we pull and drop up there. Of course, this is not the only thing we do here on the channel. We live stream usually every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. My wedding season's picking back up, so I'm going to be in and out a little bit. The rest of the guys are going to be pulling some weight that pulling my weight around, but we'll let you know. Steven, I wanted to. We haven't talked about this, but I was gonna see if we could maybe do a Wednesday night stream instead of a Thursday night. Swap one of our days, just because I've got an event that I was invited to go to Thursday night. So, but we'll talk about that. We'll get back to you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. We'll see you guys in the live streams later this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace. Bye.